My girlfriend had gotten it into her head that she was being jinxed at work. She had read all kinds of paranormal crap and scary stories. Every time she came home, she started complaining to me that she felt very bad. It felt like someone had drained all her vitality and energy. I laughed, of course. It was the first time I had ever seen such an explanation for ordinary fatigue after a day's work. My girlfriend worked in a store at the cash register, and after the shift, even without any magic, it was possible to be exhausted. But Laura was persistent. A month later I had to take her to a witch healer. I do not know where she got the address. Apparently, good people told me. The witch looked ominous, all in black, her face wrinkled like a baked apple. I did not like her, in a word. Laura, too, because already on the threshold of a private house, she refused to go inside. By the way, I think women may be such delicate matter, more sensitive than men. Because Laura later told me that it seemed to her that from grandmother's heat is incomprehensible, as if the battery or stand near the stove. I felt nothing of the kind. Leaving, my friend and I made one serious mistake. VEDBMA offered to buy a small icon for a nominal fee. We are not particularly religious people, we bought it more to help. She gave us the icon in a rag wrapped in a cloth and we did not even unwrap it. Laura opened it when we got home, and on the advice of the old woman put it in the corner of the room right on the floor. I didn't get into why that was. I remember that under such an old woman also had an explanation. By the way, the icon itself looks strange. It was painted on a wooden board. It depicts a man in dark clothes, a blurred figure, as well as his face. And you cannot understand, on his head, it seems like the oil paint dripped, but these blurry spots on the horns looked very much like. I'm so savvy now that I wouldn't even take something like that into my apartment building, let alone into my house. Back then I didn't see anything wrong with it, so my grandmother asked us to put such a thing in the corner of our room. Please, I don't mind. The first weirdness began the next day. Friends came to us with their German Shepherd. Lord always felt normal in our house, but here in the room where we were sitting did not come in. Standing in the hallway, fur on his scruff, growling and grinning. And his eyes were directed into the room. He was obviously frightened. He stood there for several hours and did not want to come in. And at the end of the evening, it seemed to me that someone unseen slammed his face. Creepy to see a big dog squealing like a puppy and beating on the closed front door. From then on, it got worse and worse in our apartment every day. In the morning, Laura is in the bathroom squealing. I ran in and she was in tears. Claims someone grabbed her by the ankle. She even thought it was me sneaking up, turned around, no one. Footsteps in the room. Oh, yeah, a week later, we started hearing footsteps at night in the dark. It makes my hair stand on end when that happens. We lay there, afraid to move, and felt and heard as someone invisible wanders through the apartment, rattles the dishes in the kitchen, whispers incomprehensible words, or sometimes begins to laugh harshly creakily. I was then also grabbed by the hands or feet of an invisible entity. It was unpleasant. The most important thing was that I began to feel my fingers on my skin, but I realized that they were too thin to be human. And most importantly, Laura and I became somewhat lethargic, as if under hypnosis. We understood that terrible things were happening in the apartment, but all our senses were dulled, our head was not thinking straight. They were scared, but they did not tell anyone about it and did not try to run away from the apartment. We both walked with a frightening obedience after work to our rented apartment and doomed to sink into the chaos that reigned around us. And it did not occur to us to connect all the trouble with a gift from an old woman. I don't know how it would have ended for us if my mother hadn't stopped by one day. She saw us, saw what the thing was in the corner of the room, and took action. She grabbed the old woman's gift through a rag and took it to the trash, where it belongs. She explained to us that it was a witch's icon and it was better not to take such things in the house, let alone in the hands. Also, we no longer slept in that apartment. We found another place to stay. And my involuntary weird condition soon disappeared and was quickly even forgotten. Soon it even seemed to me and Lara that it had never happened with us. But it is not easy to deceive and convince ourselves. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Subscribe to the channel, there will be many more interesting things.